Hello there, and welcome to Ancient Theories channel. Hey, have you ever heard the oldest story in the world? It's the story of 7 daughters who became stars known to us as the Pleiades. In Greek mythology, it's the Atlas daughters that Orion is chasing because he wants them for himself. Aboriginals from Australia tell us the same story, but there is a group of men who want to deflower 7 sisters. In a tale attributed to the Wyandot people, indigenous people of North America in the Lake Ontario region, 7 singing maidens, daughters of the sun and the moon, who live in Skyland, descend to earth and dance with human children. Their father, wrathful at their disobedience, banishes them to another part of the sky. In another tale, the Pleiades are 7 star sisters who descend to earth in a basket. One day, a human hunter captures the youngest by her girdle while their sisters escape in the basket. The maiden promises to become the hunter's wife, but before he must accompany her to the sky. The Nez Perce people, who are presumed to have lived on the Columbia River Plateau in the Pacific Northwest region of North America, have their own version. Nevertheless, there is an enigma which is truly fascinating. Because, one can only see 6 Pleiades in the sky, not 7. Why is one missing? It's a question which ancients asked themselves and drove them into creating stories about the 7th star in hiding or returning to Earth, whatever pleased their minds. But we have some things they didn't, like the Hubble telescope in space. And you know what? We know that there is more than 6 Pleiades. So, is the story correct? Is ancient knowledge superior in some way to Greeks from 3,000 years ago who just couldn't figure it out? Well, I do not think that they had telescopes in space in ancient times, and let me be specific here. I do not believe that in the last 12,000 years there was another, better telescope in space which humans used to see stuff. Till the Webb telescope, of course. I know, the megalithic structures, pyramids, cyclopean walls, you name it. But there is no evidence of any sort of space program dating last 12,000 years. I even designed a marvelous model of an observatory, which could be done by ancients. Here I will show you. Here it is. It's a tower made of huge blocks. It's round, it has circular stairs inside. One could build it on a mountain like Machu Picchu to get better elevation. Climb up and observe the sky. I added a few things like those columns with a circle above to make sure that our ancient astronomer exactly knows what part of the sky is above his or her head. There is also this marvelous stone which points where one can see the sun rising on the equinox, and you see those angles. They are aligned with the points of the sun rising on the summer and winter solstices. Let's even say that this structure is 100 meters in height, which is impressive but not impossible. Neat, doesn't it? But can one see more than 6 Pleiades using this? Well, certainly no. I have no doubt that this cyclopean structure wouldn't help them to achieve that observation. Then what's the point? There isn't one besides that they couldn't see the 7th star. Well, technically 7 out of those 10 stars are bright enough to be seen by humans with the naked eye in the sky, but the problem is that from our point of view, 2 of those bright stars are aligned. No, not like in Lovecraft's Mythos, one simply covers the other from our sight, because even if we see them close together, it's not that close, and all stars are moving independently, even our sun. Then, is it possible that in some time we will be able to see the 7th star again? Yes, but not we. More like our grandchildren, if our civilization by that time finds a way to stop aging. The question is, then, is it possible that our ancestors have seen the 7th star before the alignment? Again, technically yes, it is possible, but it would mean that we have carried this story for more than 70,000 years now. Why that much? Because with our data and methods of calculating those things, we are not sure when the stars stop being viewed as 2 separate objects in the sky, and to be even 80% sure we have to consider the 70,000 years time frame. But hey, we now have the Webb telescope in space. Isn't that great? That means we could get better data on those stars and calculate a better time frame for the hiding of the 7th Pleiadian star, right? I hope so. However, isn't there another explanation? A simpler one. Like there was another star, but it vanished, or maybe one of the not so bright was brighter back then. Again, technically it could be one of those, but it's highly unlikely. Pleiades are young stars, and young stars don't become less bright till the time when their fuel for thermonuclear reaction starts to run out and the process is measurable. We would have noticed that. The stars don't just start to be less bright for no reason. And, with the vanishing theory, it is possible, but nothing really vanishes. If it would form any other structure, there would be that structure. White dwarf stars, neutron stars, supernovas and black holes, all of them are measurable, and we didn't find any of them there. Maybe there is still something lurking in the vast darkness of space, who knows? But it is just another reason to use the newest piece of tech, aka Webb telescope, and gather some data. Nevertheless, the story is compelling and tells us that ancients, maybe even in Neolithic times, were following the stars and recording the changes in the sky. What's even more interesting, we have transitioned those observations millennia of years further, and with our modern tools we can truly not only appreciate them, but also check their correctness. The question remains, why? Why would you create such a story just to record the state of the sky? Or maybe you wanted to record the time when they appeared in the sky? Maybe there were no Pleiades in our sky, and then, the next night. There is not only one but 7 of those new objects. But if 70,000 years is crazy, then the last sentence is even more bizarre. Pleiades were formed roughly 100 million years ago and are located only 440 light years away from us, which means that they appeared in our sky about, let me calculate this, 100 million years ago. Then who on earth is the author of that story? A triceratops maybe? This is insane. However, and hear me out on this, what if something blocked the Pleiades from our view? What if there was something which was closer to us than the Pleiades, and it stayed there and blocked our view for thousands of years? And one day it's gone, and we have 7 new bright spots in the sky. Wouldn't that be extraordinary? Wouldn't you want to create a story about that? But what it could be that blocked our line of view for millennia? Actually, it's an easy one, a nebula. We know that at one point there was a nebula flying in space, crossing our line of view exactly at this angle to cover the Pleiades. But it wasn't 100,000 years ago, in fact, it was a more recent event. And it lasted for who knows how long. Isn't that an arch worth considering? I think it is, so I made this video. After all, think for yourself. Do you hear that? Someone just punched a hole in my idea. Was that nebula dense enough to block 7 bright stars in the first place? I do not know that. But one thing is sure, those stars would look a lot dimmer than today. Funny Assyrian trivia. In ancient Sumer, a star is called Mole, and the Pleiades are called Mul-Mul, which is just a plural form of a star. But there was only one set of Mul-Mul, which are, ready, 7 Pleiades. Not 6, but 7. We can even see them on the Seleucid tablet VAT 7851 in Berlin, and those 7 stars are assigned to the 7 great gods of Sumer. Attention now. Those gods are Enlil, An, Enki, and the 3 astral gods Moon, Sun, Venus, plus a 7th god which we are not sure who he is. Maybe the mother goddess Nin Hersaga or the netherworld goddess Ereshkigal. Who knows, after all, one of those stars is in hiding now, right? Then later in the Akkadian language, the Pleiades are called the bristle, probably because when they appear in the sky it is late April, and this is the time for, well, when you should plant seeds and take care of your bulls. Literally it says, quote, "The earth is open and the oxen are driven, the field is open, the ploughs are washed month of the god Ningirsu, the Heriof, the great farmer of Enlil." It's a fragment from Astrolabe B. But they go further with that. They use the Pleiades and the moon positions on certain days in certain months to calculate if it is a leap year, if their date is right, and if the pregnant woman will or will not give birth to boys. This is based on, well, nothing at all. And when you go further in time, you get the Neo-Akkadian letters, prayers and other shenanigans, like placing 7 dots on objects as guardian symbols of the Pleiades, even if one can only see 6 of those in the sky. I won't argue with that. But 2 things are certain. Firstly, they knew about the 7th star. Secondly, when their beliefs were based on practical observations in ancient Sumer times, it just worked. But when time flies, people tend to grow their beliefs into impractical things, one should say esoterical things. And that at some point just doesn't work. It's harmless when you place dots on chairs or roofs, but after that, there always comes the time of sacrifices, and yes, in Neo-Akkadian times they used to burn offerings for the gods and also for the demons. Guys and gals, please, stay practical. Till we meet again.